Yeah, welcome back. JT, welcome back to the show, big guy.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, we were talking about tickets, tyrants, and assessments, and here on the No Stay Project, a big show for January 22nd, 2011 already. Good Lord, it's going quickly. And
Yes,
it just... it's only at the end of the week I think it's taken a long time. I mean, during the week when you're spending so much time on the phone with the IRS, I got to tell you, I was actually on the phone, and we were on with the agent. The whole call was about an hour and 15 minutes. And so part of it we were on hold, but but for the majority we were on with the agent, and she was putting us on hold, and I was like, oh my God, I want to kill myself. It was bad. So after that call, I just said, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. The rest of the day, I can't. Don't email me. Don't Skype me. I don't want to hear about the IRS. I've had enough. I've had enough. I think that was kind of the feeling for a police officer in someone's with someone's ticket, that they just don't want to deal with this, because we got this from Doug on the Skype chat. And I think this is great. This is the other ticket. Now I'm getting this from from Brian, who posted this on his Facebook page, and Doug was nice enough to post this. So I'm just going to read. This is from of course, Brian. I'm going to take his last name out. So he says he was scheduled for court, and it was his first time going to court at 8 a.m. And when he got there was already 10 people before him. He heard one prosecutor say that Officer Johnston was downstairs, so I knew there was going to be a case. So I guess Johnston was the police officer who wrote the ticket. I'm assuming that part, though.
Right.
After some time went by, he noticed that they were having a word with a lot of people. A word is in quotes. They were having a word with a lot of people outside the courtroom, and the people weren't coming back. After about 15, 20 minutes, I remembered about the motion to strike, which he had gotten from me, that he says he conveniently filed. So I asked one prosecutor if they had received it. She looks at me and says, she's not there yet. Another 20 minutes go by, and I hear sigh, like, who has Brian? The prosecutor looked and answered that she did. She takes a look and asks if she can have a word with me privately. She tells me that, unfortunately, the officer is not going to be able to testify in his case. Are we surprised? Are we surprised by this, JT?
No.
So he says he can see how the courts can be intimidating, the long wait, the holier-than-thou type atmosphere. Thankfully, being his first time in a courtroom, he was able to see various videos and watch people go through the system and stand up for themselves. It's a good way to gain confidence if you've never tried this approach before. And then it says, thanks, Mark, and as soon as my phone's on, I'll call in. So hopefully Brian can call in next. So here we got a little more evidence, JT, that here, the Quatlosers, they're not empirical. How would they know that there was no evidence that I've never helped anybody when they've never had any personal direct contact with me or anybody else like you who I've actually worked with?
So, because it's convenient for them, show me a ruling that was based on a filing, based on this filing and the merits of the filing. They know the state plays games to get away from addressing something directly, and it's just going to be an interruption to the abattoir and milking the cows. So they get rid of it. It's inconvenient for them. They won't. They'll never acknowledge that, though.
Oh, why be empirical? They're lawyers.
Of course.
They're lawyers.
Professional dissemblers. That's all they do is dissemble.
Yeah. It's like I was reading something recently by one of the most famous policemen in the world. It's actually Mark Furman, and he makes a really good point in the book. If you have facts, pound on the facts. If you don't have facts, pound on the law. If you don't have law and facts, pound on the podium.
Right.
And so I make it a point to pound on the facts and that they don't have any. Look, if you got the facts, man, we'll save you the time and trouble. We will plead no contest and pay the fine.
Right.
And so how, and I'm not, look, I like Larkin Rose, and we're going to have him back on the show again. He's been on the show a lot, and we're going to actually get the footage from the Pork Fest, uploaded here real soon. Some really good stuff in there. We had our roundtable. They said some pretty disgusting things about him. So I have not been attacked on the Quatloos site like Larkin has. But the thing is, I stick to the facts, and they call me a moron.
Right.
I have an IRS attorney in the middle of a court proceeding, basically, you know, I mean, no, it was out of court, but it was a pretrial conference, admitting that there are factual differences and then refusing to discuss them. But I'm the moron.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We asked for the facts, and that makes me a moron. You know, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We've got plenty of evidence, but the point about helping people with traffic tickets is secondary, I think, to teaching people about voluntarism or anarchy or agorism. It's not about just getting a traffic ticket thrown out, and that's why I don't really harp on that. Do this and you'll get a case thrown out. I make it very clear it's about damage control. It's not about winning. I never have proclaimed if you use the material or if I help you, you're going to win. What I say is you could be left alone.
Right.
These people are so disingenuous. You know, it's like a whole site dedicated to nothing but professional trolls.
Sure. Well, and there is no winning until government dies in the vine from people ignoring it and quit supporting it.
Amen to that, brother. That's exactly. So
that's the win.
And I made it very clear in the article, Owning an IRS Lawyer, that the reason why sticking to the facts this way and why it's been so successful at showing that they don't have a case. It doesn't mean that we've always had things thrown out, but it's always successful in showing that they've got no facts and they're demonstrating extreme bad faith. It's all because government is immoral, that that taxation is theft, that the initiation, the use of physical force is wrong, and because of that, because that's the base on all this rests. That's why we can do things like this. That's why it's impossible for them to show a factual connection, and that's why I hit it so hard. So it's about damage control, not winning. I have never claimed that, and I don't want people thinking that it should just be, what can I do just to get out of this ticket? There's nothing to get out of, but there is damage control to keep these people from damaging you any further. What's important here is that we're spreading the truth about government, the true nature of it, and voluntarism, that we're moving towards a voluntary society. That is what is paramount, not getting traffic tickets thrown out. It's great. I'm not discounting that at all. But that's not as important as getting to a voluntary society and putting these people out of business.
That's right.
You know, so the criticism from these guys, which they're attorneys,
sure,
you know, that's to be expected, of course. It's just that, you know, knowing Larkin as I do, the things that they wrote about him on there, it's just mean-spirited.
Of course.
There's no truth to it at all. They've never come out, and even though I take an empirical approach as opposed to legal, they've never once tried to show where he was in error and try to, to point out, this is where you're reading the law wrong. They're not saying that how you've mapped this out is wrong. They're just calling him all sorts of filthy names.
Right.
But that's to be expected from attorneys. My name is Mark Stevens. JT and I talk about tickets, tyrants, and assessments. We'll be back in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking about civil disobedience, mass civil disobedience. And, of course, the listeners that on 1330 a.m., the Lone Star Legend, you're definitely going to want to tune in for that because we're going to be talking about you guys, so don't go away.